You said once you buy some Bitcoin, your life changes.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, Bitcoin changes your life for a bunch of reasons, but I think ultimately it starts to shift your entire mindset to what we call let's just call a long-term time preference, right? A low time preference. And so what happens is when you start to realize that the fiat system is meant to turn us into consumers, consume. One of the reasons why they have inflation is they want people to spend money. The government thinks they have to stimulate people to spend money. The reality is people should be stimulated to save. They don't need to stimulate people to buy, but they want to stimulate the economy. You talked about the velocity, I think earlier, about the money. And so like during the COVID pandemic, everybody started hunkering down and saving money. That was terrible. So they injected trillions of dollars of stimulus to get people to start spending again. So humans just want to spend. Part of that is sort of ingrained into us being the consumers, but also because our money's losing value so fast. And once we get Bitcoin, we realize that, oh, my money can actually buy me more goods and services in the future. And so if it can buy me more goods and services in the future, then maybe I should wait. You see, on a fiat system, my money's going to buy me less. So I should probably spend it as quick as I can, because if I wait, it's going to cost me more money in the future. But with Bitcoin, it's the opposite, where it's like, oh, it'll be cheaper for me in the future. Maybe I could just wait. You talked about the hurdle rate. So the hurdle rate is that if Bitcoin is going up at 50 or 60% per year, then why would I buy anything else that's going to cost me that? So what happens is it changes the cost of capital. So then it's like, do I really need that vacation? Do I really need that new house? Should I get that new car? Because I could just hold it in Bitcoin. And that Bitcoin, whatever, it's 115,000 a day. I think it'll be $1 million in 5 years from now. That's a 10x. If I just wait 5 years, it'll be $1 million. Every Bitcoin I save or spend today or don't buy today, it'll be $1 million. It'll be $15 million in 15 years. Am I willing to spend that 100,000 a day? That could be 15 million in 15 years. Now, if it's the beach house for my kids, hell yeah, I am. I'll trade all that money in the world for that experience with my kids. Yes, I will. But if it's that vacation,
because you have a lot of money already.
Because I've gotten there.
Of course.
Yeah. But what happens is we start to look at things through that lens, and it's like, do I really need that? And so what happens is, again, we don't want the money. We want the things that buys us, but it helps us make better decisions. Right? And that's why it changes our life. It starts to show us, it changes our value system. It shows us what's important or not. And it will also change the world, because in the world, we have so much misallocation of capital, so much malinvestment. We're investing into all types of things that are never going to work. We're spending money on things that we probably shouldn't be working on, money chasing problems that don't need to be solved. But when you start thinking about it in terms of Bitcoin, it makes you much more selective. And I think that's a good thing.
You said my money is losing value very quickly.
Yeah.
How quickly is my money in my bank account losing its value?
Yeah, a lot faster than people think. The money is losing value much faster than people think. The government reports what the CPI, or consumer price inflation, is for us. And so basically they take a basket of goods, they track that basket over time, and they tell you how fast prices are going up. But that's not what's actually happening. That's the result of what's happened, right? So it's the increase in the money supply. That's what's going on. And so rather than the CPI, in the US, it's 2 to 3%. The target's 2%. The target is to steal only 2% of your wealth per year through inflation. Jerome Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, just had their meeting, and they basically said as much, that they're going to sort of abandon that 2% target, meaning like let it run hot. But the real rate of inflation, or debasement, or the amount that you're losing in your bank account, is really the rate of the increase in the money supply. So if you think about actually the word inflation, it's like if I was going to blow up a balloon, I'm going to inflate a balloon. I'm increasing the volume of air in that balloon. So inflation is increasing the volume of money in circulation. And so what happens is when they increase the money supply, prices changing as the result of that. So we're trying to track CPI, we're looking at the result, but we want to understand that. So what is that? So over the last 5 years, globally, the M2 money supply has gone up about 8% a year. In the US, it's gone up a little bit faster. So it's somewhere in the 8 to 10% per year range is the amount that you're being debased, or you're losing that purchasing power. Then you could add in, say, a 2% risk premium. So now you're 10, 12%, somewhere in that range. But that's the rate that you're losing. That's back to the hurdle rate. That's your hurdle rate. So now if I'm going to lose 10% per year, then everything I do has to go make me more than 10% a year. And so I think once people realize that, it starts to, again, sort of like almost, as I said earlier, once you set your sight on what you want, it starts making your path much more clear. Once I realize that I need to beat 10% inflation, it starts making all my business decisions and my investments decisions much more clear. Because now you have this basket of things that you can invest into. If your Ray Dalio is going to tell you 17 things in your portfolio, well, of those 17 things, 15 are not going to beat that number. So let me just go focus on these 2 things. And that's NASDAQ, that's tech, and that's Bitcoin.
And these 10 to 12% compound every year. That's another thing, right? Even when you said before, our goal is only to steal 2% a year.
Yeah.
Which sounds like, it's not that bad. Just 2% a year compounded over a few years is a lot.
Yeah.
10 to 15% compounded over a couple of years is 40, 50%. It's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah, that's back to the law of compounding. And what happens is a lot of times we overlook, again, right? We think of things linear and forget that it's compounding. And so, some of the things that I also help on some of these coaching programs is help people think about wealth a little bit differently. And so if we could just keep 10% more of our money and invest that over 20 years, that could be life-changing money. But it's like, that's like 6,000, 7,000. It's not worth my time. I'm focused on making money. But it's, again, you're overlooking the power of that 6,000 or 7,000 that you save and keep and can compound and how that could grow.